Hello, my friends. I'm Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. Today, we're going to do another subscriber special because we have just surpassed 800 subscribers. So, this one will be specifically for my Hive Collective here, our little bee family we got going on. If you would like to join the Hive Collective, all you need to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then you'll be a part of our little bee family here. And the topic, I thought it would be fun to kind of see what is your legend? Maybe lore, even like what is the legend that you will leave behind? Kind of like what is your story, I guess, or like wait, now I'm confusing myself. It was so clear when I wrote it down. I think I just said something along the lines of what will be your legend? What will be your? There's probably a better word for it, isn't there? Anyways, I think you understand what I'm trying to get at here. Like, what kind of impact are you going to make on the world? Pretty much. That probably would be a way easier way to explain it. But, anyways, I'm excited. Let's dive right in. Please and thank you, Spirit. What legend is the Hive Collective making for themselves? Please and thank you, Spirit. What kind of legend is the Hive Collective specifically? How are they? Ooh, we're starting off strong. Okay, that's too many there, but the first one we'll take. What is the legend that the Hive Collective is leaving for the world, creating for the world? Yeah, your impact on this beautiful world that we live in. Anything else? Right away, you are going to be leaving a legend, like a real good legend. I'm just saying. All right, let's just dive right in. These are great cards. Oh my gosh. Okay, so starting out, can't make this up. The first card that came out is the Six of Wands, which is success. Could even be triumph over something. And then the Lovers card came out. Are you kidding me? And then the Seven of Wands, which is literally you fighting against the odds and overcoming whatever this is. Damn. And then bottom of the deck is the Queen of Swords. Your mind is a huge part of your legend here. Wow. Let's just dive right into the clarification because I'm curious. Starting with that Six of Wands, please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify that Six of Wands for us as to the legend that the Hive Collective is making for themselves, the impact that they're having? Again, that's too many cards, but I'll do one more shuffle. See if there's okay. I had a feeling that one wanted to come out. Okay. No freaking way. Oh, goodness. Oh, how interesting. Okay. Oh, wait. I think it was that, and that. Okay, so clarifying that Six of Wands, we have the Ten of Wands, Ace of Swords. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Making sure my hair ain't in the microphone. And then, wait, did I say Ace of Wands or Ace of Swords? It's Ace of Swords. And then the High Priestess, Five of Wands, Five of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and then we have the Seven of Wands, which is double confirmation there. It's not the one we're clarifying, but definitely double confirmation because it's still in the reading. But look at this. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands, which is what we're clarifying right now. Yeah. So part of your legend is your own success. Um, your legend could definitely be tied to your success and like how you got there. I mean, especially with these cards coming out too. It has not been an easy success. It has not been an easy road. You've had probably too many burdens on your plate at any given time. And that obviously causes a lot of stress. And it can sometimes knock you out of alignment when it, you know, when we start to internalize our struggle. But the fact that you were able to not internalize this struggle, I think speaks volumes about the character that you have. Yeah, and with that Ace of Swords following that, there is a clear vision in your mind. Also, positive affirmations may be a thing, or that's something that you have done on your journey to kind of help correct these out of date narratives or mindsets that are holding you back. You're with the High Priestess, you're definitely tapped into the divine. You're getting those spirit downloads, but you're also like listening to your intuition and letting that guide you. And I think that's what's partially what's leading you to your own success. But I feel like that's going to be a big part of this narrative of your legend, because the High Priestess is a very wise person, but not somebody that really talks. So they're not like boastful or prideful or, show offy, but it's simply like your energy of intuition, of clarity of mind, which that Queen of Swords we saw at the bottom of the deck before, um, definitely ties into that. You're able to see a much bigger picture, and there's something about grounding yourself, finding that inner stability within yourself. Because I think that you've gone through a lot in your lifetime that you kind of had to find that strength and that stability within in order to simply get through a day, to not give up on your dreams, even. Because we have the Five of Wands and then the Five of Swords. So, like, both of these cards are about conflict. The Swords one I typically see as a little bit more harsh, dramatic. And I typically see the Wands as something maybe a little bit more superficial, a little bit petty. But it also speaks of competition. I think that people like the idea of competing against you and trying to win. I just don't know if anybody's been successful in that. That's the thing. But this could be part of your backstory. Like, people are just like coming out you right, left, and center, trying to knock you off your game, get you out of character, push your buttons, get you. Yeah, these are low vibrational people that want you to come down to their level. So these are people that are purposely trying to trigger you, kind of poke at you relentlessly, because they want some sort of proof that you're just like them, even though I think your energy is completely unique, and it's definitely not these lower vibrational people's energies. Yeah. Also, double fives could be significant. We also have double sixes and double sevens, double ones. So any of those numbers repeating could be significant for you, or a sign from the universe, spirit. But the Five of Wands definitely feels like people, it's like people put you on a pedestal in their brain, in their mind. And this is like without your doing. This is the thing. So it's like they put you on a pedestal, and because they themselves have put you on a pedestal, they want to knock you off that pedestal. It's like, why'd you put me up there in the first place? Very bizarre, but when people are this unhealed, they don't make a lot of sense, right? Because the thing is, like, especially if it's emotional based at all, like, feelings of jealousy or of bitterness, um, pettiness. Emotions tend to kind of wipe out any sense of being rational, logical, grounded. I think that is a very big difference between these people and yourself. I think you have a good control over your thoughts and feelings, probably. Um, and I feel like this is probably a skill that you've learned, because the high priestess doesn't just pop out the womb like that. I'm sure the high priestess goes through many steps leading up to embodying that energy. But it's interesting because part of your backstory is people just being petty. Yeah, people being petty and just um, competitive with you, but it feels like it's one sided. There's like a little indent on my card here, and I wonder if that is from my cat biting it. Anyways, maybe you like cats, or cats could be significant. I don't know why that's like, you know, so heavy on my mind right now. But, anyways, the Five of Swords, though. So it's like we're shifting out of this like no, this petty sort of one sided competition that doesn't really affect you. It's more of a distraction than anything that would actually affect you. But the Five of Swords, though, that's a really rough energy to go through. Because if well, especially in this image, like the person here has all these swords and now they're like facing towards like the sunset or whatever that is. And, they're kind of trying to gather their thoughts after all this chaos. And yeah, it feels like mental abuse could definitely be a thing, but it could just be like um, psychological manipulation. Five of Swords definitely speaks to me of somebody that's gone through a lot. And the thing about the swords is like these are things that cut deep. These are the things that leave emotional, mental scars that and they set up very specific narratives that bleed into um, mindsets that can actually hinder your growth, hold you back in life. Like it's more than just that petty distraction. This is like something that would really impact you. Sometimes I see the Five of Swords as like a bullying card, like people being a bully just for the fun of it, just for the heck of it. Well, I think that we kind of understand, or maybe not all of us, but some of us, I think most of us probably understand that when somebody is bullying another person, it's really to just um, feel a sense of control and, make themselves feel better. So it's like we understand where it's coming from. Of course, that doesn't excuse that behavior. But, you could have been bullied growing up, or you could have been bullied in your adulthood. You were told certain things about your value. And maybe at one point you did internalize all of this. But it feels like you're actively trying to leave this in the past. I don't think that you like being in this energy of the Five of Swords. I think that you wish to create a future in which the Five of Swords is no longer at play. You wish to kind of free yourself from your past to an extent. And I think that's probably what you're doing here. You're being successful in create it honestly feels like you're rewriting your story. Like maybe you were set up for a certain narrative in life, but you actively chose to go in there and rewrite it. Fill yourself full of positive affirmations so that you can change those narratives, shift those mindsets so that they are no longer holding you back. Because there's a lot of freedom that comes with that process. You're also a very focused person, very hard worker. Like if you have your eyes on a goal, you stay on that track. until that goal is achieved. I don't think you really let a lot of distractions get to you. Because, and it's interesting, this Ace of Wands is kind of hitting me more so as like a pencil or a pen. You know, you holding a pencil or a pen and rewriting your story. Because maybe you even grew up in an environment where people really didn't expect too much out of you. They may have, you know, even thought the worst, like, oh, this person's not going anywhere in life. And maybe that's partially due to your own experiences growing up, or maybe the circumstances in which you were born into. But the thing is, you recognized your inner power and you decided to rewrite your story here. You have a vision for something much more beautiful than what you have experienced. Interesting that we have that Seven of Wands, because it's like, although you've had so many things stacked against you in life, and I think it's more than just one, you know, circumstance or person or time period, but multiple things from multiple aspects of life. You've had a lot of things kind of, unfairly out of balance. Like you've always felt maybe how, like the competition or the obstacles have always been more than you thought you could handle. But I think that through this process, you've discovered your own strength and abilities. You realize that you have the power here. And that brings you into the success. You've overcome so many challenges and obstacles. And you've created success for yourself. This is all part of your legend. There is an optimism as well, because although there's all this darkness from your past, you've brought the light out in yourself, in your life. There is like this unshakable feeling, and it may be intuition or just like this inner knowing that you are meant for something else, that this past of yours is not the end of your story. It was simply just the beginning, just the backstory. But that makes this success, this triumph that you were coming into, or that you're already embodying, could definitely be. It's kind of, that's why you're coming into the success, is because you have really done so much work on yourself and on your life. You haven't given up. You took the power into your own hands to change things, to rewrite things. And it's like, I think the people that have been petty are definitely going to see your success, but I think many people are going to see your success, and maybe even some people from this Five of Swords energy, the people that really tried to get you to not believe in yourself, the people that really tried to instill fear and doubt into you. I see you being triumphant despite all of that, but also you shining in the light, coming into this success. And this is something that people are going to witness. But yeah, the backstory here of you going through all this darkness and pain, but yet shifting towards the light, creating the light for yourself. This all makes up your legend, and this is a legend that people are very much moved by. And it's a big part of that feels like it's because of your backstory. You haven't had it easy, but yet you were still able to keep going, to believe in something else, to hold on to a vision, to believe in yourself and what is possible in life, even if everyone else around you doubted that or didn't see things the way you saw them. Wow. It feels like it's very significant. And then the Six of Wands again at the bottom of the deck, like you are meant for success. And I think that part of you knows that through your intuition. You get like this gut feeling that there's something more to my story. There's something more to my life, to my life's purpose even. I see you being in the spotlight and standing out. I think that this could definitely be part of the karma that the people that hurt you are going to receive. Part of their karma is to see you succeed in life, is to see you stand out in a way that is very special and very valued. Yeah, it's like these people that didn't realize what you were capable of, they're going to be eating their words. They're going to realize that they had it all wrong. And that is probably going to surprise them. And it's definitely going to remind them that they were not successful in whatever they were trying to sabotage for you. Whether that be your confidence, the way that you view yourself, the way you look at life even. You definitely switched your story around because it could have gone down a completely different path, but you chose this higher path and it's going to be working out for you. And look at all that light that you're creating. It feels like it's coming from you. You could be a light for other people to follow, especially because of your story here, your backstory and everything. It's like, I've lived this, so I know you can do it too. And that is very inspirational to a lot of people and motivational. You could be a motivational speaker, or you have really good you have enough experiences to be a very motivational speaker if that's something that you decide to do. Yeah. Let's see what's underneath that Six of Wands. The Moon card. Ooh, so you have had to face the darkness head on. You have stared into the abyss. You have fought your shadow. And maybe fought, it may be the wrong word, but you've acknowledged your shadow and it no longer controls you. Also, the fear of the unknown. This is something that you have faced and overcome. You haven't let the darkness control your narrative. You've stayed on your path. You've trusted in the process. You kept going even if you weren't sure where you were going. And that leads you to your success, it feels like. I want to see what's underneath the Moon card. Temperance. Yes. I feel like this confirms what we were already saying, is like these negative experiences of the past, you have healed from them, at least to some extent. And you also have transmuted the energy. You have transformed it to work with you, not against you. And maybe that's some sort of secret that you have found throughout life, figuring out how to make things work for you and not against you, especially things that may have done that for anyone else, you know, circumstances that could have held anyone else back, but you use it as a stepping stone to get further. Wow. People could also see you as like an earth angel, somebody that is here with a divine purpose. You're going to be making a big impact in the world. Yeah. That's beautiful. Okay, let's go into the Lovers, clarify that. Please and thank you, Spirit. Can we clarify that Lovers card as to what is the legend that the collective is making? What is their legend? The Hive Collective specifically. What kind of legend are they creating? Oh, and yeah. This is going to be a lot of cards, but I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to roll with it. Apparently there's a lot to your legend, is what this is showing me. Wow. Okay. So the Lovers card clarified by the King of Wands. You have definitely taken control over your life, over your passions, over your creativity, and you've become a machine. You've become unstoppable. There is something within you that is maybe even slightly stubborn, but it's used in a very beneficial way for you. And then we have the Fool card. I feel like that goes again with like that feeling of you not being afraid of the unknown. You're fine with starting over, starting anew, or doing something new, doing something that you haven't really explored before. And maybe this is through the process of your life where you kind of have gone through so many unexpected things, so many changes, and you've had to kind of roll with it and shift with it and stuff, flow with it. I feel like because of all of this, you could be not so afraid when it comes to change and transformation and new beginnings. It feels like Spirit has your back, and I feel like maybe that's a part of the Lovers card that we're clarifying, is like a very strong message that you are in alignment with Spirit and Spirit has your back. Because Spirit really wants to see you succeed. The flying has been standing out to me. We have the butterfly on the Six of Wands. We had, what was the other one? Oh, the angel wings on the Temperance card. And now the wings on these two geese in this image. So it's like Spirit wants to see you soar, wants to see you, reach heights that you've never reached before. Maybe that a lot of people have never reached, but you're like the example for them. After the Fool card, we have the Sun card. A lot of major arcana. So like your legend is going to be incredibly impactful in the lives of others. The Sun card, I think that there's something about you bringing light to others, enlightenment, information even. You may have like a positive message for others. And we saw before the Moon card at the bottom of the deck, and the Sun card illuminates what was in the darkness. And so I wonder if maybe because you found your inner light, you can show other people how to find theirs, or you can encourage other people to find their inner light. Because there's also something about moving with confidence, even if you have to kind of fake that confidence to begin with. It's like the further you go along, the more confident you get, because you have this whole history of circumstances that you were able to overcome. And that gives you a faith in yourself and in the universe. And then we have the World card, another major arcana. You've probably gone through so many cycles. Like you could have been stuck in karmic loops for a period of time, where you're just like meeting the same ex just in different bodies, and it's just like, damn, all of these are like the same person. But through these maybe toxic or karmic cycles, you've learned how to choose better, to become better, to shift your own vibration to be in alignment with more positive experiences and positive cycles. But this is a very difficult process to go through. Some people never make it out of these karmic loops and cycles. But there is something about you that is able to see the bigger picture here. I think you have divine wisdom. I think that I don't know, it feels almost like maybe Spirit even shows you certain visions of what life can be or what the world can be, what is possible, even if that may not make sense to everyone else. I feel like the world could also be indicating that you are going to stand out in a big way in the world. You're meant to. Yeah. Also, it's like I'm getting this sensation of like a fingerprint. I think that you are so unique. And that's probably part of what makes you stand out. Because either nobody looks like you, nobody thinks like you, nobody acts like you. There's something about who you are that is so particular and so significant. And it's like, I don't know, it's like you literally are creating a legend for yourself. Yeah. But people definitely see you shining and they see you standing out in a big way. And then the other card that came out after the World card, we have the Judgment card. There is something about a message that you have to share with the world. And it's like spirit wishes to speak through you. There could also be something with singing. I don't know why, but that feels like a thing. Or maybe just music in general. Maybe you create music and that's going to make a huge impact in the world. And again, the wings. I think that you are about to soar, or that's part of your legend here. You know, what it took to get the Hive Collective to this point of being able to fly and reach heights that have never been reached before. After the Judgment card, we have the Four of Cups. You've been very selective with your energy in this more enlightened cycle. You've been super selective because you realize, like, especially with that World card, the past of karmic cycles, karmic loops, being stuck in those, you've realized that you can't just let anybody into your life. You have to be super selective. You have to have standards that you do not compromise on, as well as boundaries. I feel like you've learned all of this through your journey, but the way that you use it is impactful. And people really see, like, okay, there's something to that. And maybe at one point you were afraid to be alone or on your own, but you're not afraid of that anymore. You found a sense of inner peace and purpose. With the Two of Swords following that Four of Cups, you could have been somebody that really overthought or kind of got stuck in your mind when it came to thinking about things. And maybe that was in itself sort of like a cycle where it's like you're thinking so much about something and you're maybe listening to your fears, your doubts, and it's all like a jumbled up mess in your mind. And it's like when you're in that energy, you're not really able to move, you're not able to make any forward progress. But it's like through going through that, you've learned to listen to your intuition, maybe even your body, you know, how your body reacts when you're getting like an intuitive download or you're getting that sense of something, you know, something specific. And then after that, Two of Swords, the Magician, like so much major arcana, and we're clarifying a major arcana. The Magician. I think you are very magical. I think that people definitely see you as a magical being here. Somebody that is able to create, to definitely manifest. But it's like you recognize your own power before everyone else does. And it's like you recognize it and then you use it to your benefit. And maybe it even catches some people off guard. Like, where did this magic come from? Or where did this ability come from? when it comes to the Hive Collective. And then after that Magician, we have the Page of Wands. I love the Page of Wands in the way of like, it feels like the energy you would have if you were reborn and you're like experiencing the world for the first time and you're so excited about everything. You're optimistic, you're full of hope. You know, we're not filled with fear yet at this point in our lives, for the Page of Wands here. And so honestly, it's like your journey, your transformation, your success, any part of those things, or maybe all of them, have given you this sense of, yeah, like recreating your life, rewriting that narrative, shifting perspective, helps you to feel like reborn. And I like that it's not just that this person has light, you know, within them, but it's like the light of this wand that they're holding. It almost feels like this is to lead the way for other people that are still trapped in darkness. You show people how it's possible to recreate yourself, to change things for yourself, to take the power into your own hands and create something with that. You have a super enlightened perspective. And with the Page of Wands, there is a sense of humbleness with that, I would say. I feel like you have a way of talking about your experiences and a way of like maybe giving other people advice that doesn't feel pushy, doesn't feel like you're holier than thou. You're not talking down on anyone. You're not, you know, judging anyone for where they're at in life. There's something very down to earth, humble, grounded about you. And I feel like that's kind of why people love your legend so much, is because like you speak of these things not out of a place of judgment or you know, being on a pedestal, you know, looking down on everyone, but rather just talking about it like a regular person. And you get to speak to regular people through that process because there's something so real about you, so authentic, so transparent, really. Also, it's interesting the way that it's like on my table here. The Sun card was above it, and then the Page of Wands is below it. And like, look at all that light. Like, you are the bringer of light. You are here to create life. Or, okay, I was going to say light, but maybe life too. You're here to create light. And this is like a necessary light. Because if you think about it, you know, the earth would die without the sun. We need the sun. I think that there's something very needed about you as well. Like, you are meant to do something really great with your life in a way that brings hope, in a way that brings possibilities that people didn't really consider before or they thought was impossible. You spin these narratives around and you change people's minds, and maybe you even shift people's narratives on, you know, how they see themselves, how they see the world. There's like a completely different perspective from you as well. And we're clarifying the Lover's card, and the Lover's card can be about choices. I think that you are actively trying your best to make the best choices, especially the choices that will put you in alignment with your manifestations, the things that you want, the things that you're trying to create for yourself in your life. And then the bottom of the deck, I don't think I showed you. It's the Six of Pentacles. Oh, there's a card that flipped over inside of that. Oh, two cards. Okay. I haven't seen these yet, but I will take them. We have the Two of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So I'm definitely picking up, you make plans for yourself and then you act on those plans. I feel like that could definitely be a message with those two. But I'm also getting, because it's interesting how these cards that already came out feel like a completed, storyline. And these feel maybe even outside of your own story. I wonder if this is somebody that has been impacted by your legend already. Because maybe you encourage people to make plans for their future, to dream of a different future for themselves, and, work on these things in a practical way. There's a way that you encourage people to plan for their future. And they could actually be coming forward to say how you've sparked this passion within them. Yeah, so it could definitely be, in terms of your legend, it definitely could be how you make these plans and act upon them, which may sound, like obvious, but maybe not everybody does that. Not everybody acts upon the plans that they make for themselves. Yeah, but it also could be somebody that either has listened to you, maybe took some sort of advice from you, or maybe simply observed the way that you live your life. And they were like, I want to do that too. And so they started to make plans for themselves. And now they act upon those plans in a way that's maybe even more so fearless. And they also could just be coming forward to kind of express, well, it definitely could have a romantic sort of undertone to it because it is the Knight of Wands. Maybe this is somebody that sees you as very attractive as well. But it feels like you've lit somebody else's torch, and maybe that could be in love. But I feel like it's very strongly much deeper than that, much bigger than that. You are able to light up people that felt like their flame went out years ago. You know what I'm saying? You have a great impact on the lives of others, and it feels like maybe you even have somebody that wants to specifically come in to thank you for whatever you have done for them, however you have guided them. Even if you didn't directly do anything, they are so appreciative of getting them to care again, to kind of feel again, to kind of get excited again for life, and maybe specifically their own life. But yeah, you are here to light other people's torches. And it feels like these are people that may have felt like their torch went out a really long time ago. But you come in and you show them the way out of the darkness. Like people that have felt maybe even powerless, hopeless, helpless. You encourage them to find the light within, the power within. And they actually use that information to better themselves and their lives. So it's like you're making real world impact here. The Six of Pentacles. It feels like because you are so giving and caring, people wish to give and care to you too. And especially when it comes to you living your purpose here, you have such valuable information. You have, honestly, it feels like you in your entirety, are very valuable. But specifically, you have very valuable information, perspectives, experiences. And so that makes a really big difference in the lives of other people. And they, kind of wish to repay that favor because it feels like a life-changing sort of energy that you give to other people. And it feels like maybe it's something Maybe it's even a conversation that you don't think too much about, but to somebody else, it changes their whole perspective, changes their whole life trajectory, you know? I think you do show people the light. You educate people too, and maybe it's specifically in that divine sense, you know, the divine wisdom, spiritual wisdom, but it could be so many things. I want to see what's underneath that Six of Pentacles. The Lover's card. That's so funny. We are clarifying the Lover's card right now. Wow. Which is crazy too, because when we first started clarifying that Six of Wands, the Six of Wands was at the bottom of the deck too. So I think it's just Spirit confirming that, yes, this is all true. So love could be a part of your legend. I feel like it's a minor background character, so to speak, in this play of your life. But it feels like there could be love in the background. And it feels, though, like it's interwoven with what you do or your work, maybe your reputation. There's something about your legend that may lead you to a soulmate. And it almost feels like a byproduct and not necessarily your intention, not necessarily your main goal, but it feels like a side effect almost of like you being on track, doing something that you love, pouring your energy into it, believing in your message, going forth with this confidence. It's like when you're in that vibration, I think that you're going to naturally attract someone that is also in that high vibration. So you literally could meet your soulmate along this journey. But yeah, it's like a side effect of like you going after something here, pouring your energy into your purpose, could naturally just put you into alignment with your soulmate. I want to see what's underneath the Lover's card. Queen of Swords. There's a lot of synchronicities in this reading. So Spirit's like, I said what I said. But this Queen of Swords energy could be a part, like a big player in this. And what I mean is you embodying that Queen of Swords energy. Yes, that would make sense though, because like we were talking about closing out karmic cycles, beginning more enlightened cycles, and shifting through that, and how that's really difficult. But you would have to embody the Queen of Swords energy if you build standards for yourself that you wish to hold, stay true to, or you have boundaries that you want to not compromise on. You don't want to budge on these boundaries because they're probably made for good reasons. Being selective with your energy, because sometimes if you're being selective with your energy and you're not just letting anyone into your life, people can be offended by that, and people can take that really personally. And even some people may try to manipulate that so that doesn't happen. So there is a need to stay strong, stay clear-headed, to not get too emotional, to not get too emotionally attached maybe to specific people. Because it's like, yeah, I don't want to make anyone upset or sad, but I also value my energy. And just because somebody is like guilt tripping me or making me feel bad, I'm still going to hold on to my standards, and I'm not going to waver on that. So definitely embody that Queen of Swords energy as much as you can when it comes to your boundary setting, your holding on to your standards, and living in accordance with those standards, being selective with your energy, not just giving your energy out to everyone, not just letting anyone into your energy. Because that feels like how you're going to ensure success. And in terms of attracting a soulmate, if you're in that Queen of Swords energy, you'll be able to feel, because the Queen of Swords, even though she's very logical, she does have that inner intuition. She can sniff BS a million miles away. So staying clear-headed, staying focused, being honest, even if it hurts sometimes. Because the thing about being honest is, sometimes the truth hurts. But oftentimes, it's better to be truthful than not. Especially if it's in any way, and if it's in any way going to help another person or share a different perspective to somebody that has those blind spots or any of that kind of stuff. But yeah. And it feels like you may even think like, oh, if I'm embodying this Queen of Swords energy, nobody's going to want to be with me because everybody's going to think I'm cold and heartless. I don't know about that though, because that Lover's card was right on top of the Queen of Swords. I think that you're attracting somebody that will love you being in the Queen of Swords energy. Well, and it makes sense too, because if you think about it, the Queen of Swords is somebody with standards, boundaries, who refuses to waver on those things, even if there's social expectations or social pressure to be nice, to be kind, to kind of just go along with whatever everyone else is doing. You stand strong. You do not shift. And I feel like, if you're going to be with like a soulmate, wouldn't that person like those qualities? Because that means you're not just open to anyone. So you're probably not going to cheat, you have that strong sense of intuition. So you can, sniff deceit, deception. And you're really good with boundaries. So that this person probably is like, especially if they themselves have strong boundaries. I feel like if anything, this energy of embodying the Queen of Swords is going to impress your soulmate. And maybe that's kind of how you're meant to kind of weed out who is for you and who is not. Are they offended, or are they, appalled by you being in this energy? Or are they digging it? Because also this is all about like self-value, but also just like having a backbone, standing up for yourself. There's so many things to like about the Queen of Swords, and I feel like sometimes she gets a bad reputation because, she has to use her logical mind a lot. But that doesn't mean she's heartless. That doesn't mean that she doesn't care, because like a big thing about the Queen of Swords too is that she's very just. She believes in justice and balance. So it's like you're not embodying that energy for no reason. There is a reason. And I feel like you're doing it responsibly. You're not being too cold, too harsh. Yeah. And the right person's going to see that and dig that. Okay, let's go into the Seven of Wands. Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Can you clarify the Seven of Wands for us as to what the Hive Collective's legend is going to be? What are they creating as their legend? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. All right. Okay, so I think it was saw. Okay, so clarifying that Seven of Wands, we have the Four of Swords, Page of Swords, Five of Cups, and then we have Three of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and then bottom of the deck is the Six of Pentacles again. I really do think that there is somebody in the background right now who wants to give to you. You might not even know this. You may not even be focused on this person because you're so on track with everything that you've got going on. You're so much more invested in what you have going on that you may not even see this person. But I keep getting this like lingering energy in the background. It feels very positive though. Feels like somebody really is digging you right now. So I wonder, your soulmate may even be in your life currently, but not making themselves known, because maybe there could be a million reasons why, but maybe they're waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right environment, the right situation, scenario. Interesting. Because I keep getting this like feeling of like somebody having like hard eyes when they look at you, and they're just like, oh, I want to give to that person so badly. They probably like the fact that you're so giving, because there is that balance of the Six of Pentacles. So they know that whatever they invest into you, they will receive back. Interesting. I think somebody really admires you. And maybe you don't even realize that they're admiring you. But going back to the theme of this reading, that Seven of Wands that we're clarifying, like I said, that's like triumph against the odds. I think that that alone is very inspirational to many. The Four of Swords. That's interesting to me. There's something very interesting about your energy, and I feel like that's kind of what this whole reading is about. But this is interesting because it almost feels like you may even slightly downplay your successes, like the things you accomplish. You may even be too humble to even celebrate them, which I may, I'll suggest. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything they don't want to, but I would suggest to celebrate your wins much more often than you do currently. Because I think you probably have people in your life that want to celebrate with you. Actually, Three of Cups would definitely indicate that. Yeah, no matter how small you think these accomplishments are, I think they're quite big, quite impressive, and definitely worth celebrating. Because it almost feels like you, and maybe it's simply exhaustion, which totally fair. Like, if you've been fighting for some time and then you finally succeed at something, you finally overcome the odds, you're probably going to be tired after that. So maybe that's what this Four of Swords is indicating. But I feel like it's more than that. It almost feels like you self-isolate. And maybe that's simply to come up with another plan of a different goal. It's like, okay, I like check that off the list, and now we can brainstorm again to come up with a different goal, to plan out how we're going to get to that goal. Yeah, there's something about taking some time to maybe soak up your successes, really feel them, really appreciate them, allow other people in on that as well, so that they can tell you how proud they are of you, so they can celebrate with you. Because I think you do have people around you that wish to celebrate your wins, even if you don't think they're a big deal. I think that there are people in your life that think they're a big deal. You also probably create a sense of harmony and community. So either you have friends or community or family, there's like people around you. Maybe it's even spirit and like spirit guides, but there are people that want to celebrate with you these wins. Yeah. I feel like that's what that Four of Swords is indicating, that maybe you should not be too too quick to go on to the next thing. Because I honestly, I get that, because I'm sort of like that as well. Where it's like, okay, like check, I made this, goal, time to brainstorm for a different goal, or, how am I going to achieve this other thing? Take some time before that period for yourself, and a little bit of reflection on your past, and being like, oh, how far have I come? I feel like Spirit kind of wants you to take that time to enjoy yourself and enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak. But, I think that there's something quite humble about you that a lot of people really like. But that also doesn't mean that you can't celebrate your wins. You can still be humble and celebrate yourself. But yeah, I think Spirit may be trying to encourage you to do that. But I think it also shows people how humble you are, and maybe how you don't even realize how special you are sometimes. And the feats that you triumph over. Like your feats of strength throughout life, like they're so rare and they're important, and the work that you do is so significant, but maybe at times you don't fully see that. Also, just a side note, I think Spirit wants you to take some time to rest if you've been feeling like go, go, go. But yeah, I think people definitely see you as somebody that is very humble. You may even be somebody that celebrates other people's successes, no matter how small, over your own successes. And maybe that's part of this legend as well. Is like you're so humble that sometimes you even forget yourself. Yeah. And then the Page of Swords after that, Four of Swords. People love the way that you think. Maybe even the way that you talk, communicate. There's something about you have like a message to share that is very significant, very much of value. I think you also, because like the pages have been standing out to me. I feel like you have a very youthful spirit, or you really try to maybe hold on to this whimsy, even though life can definitely try and drain us of that whimsy, suffocate that whimsy within us. But there is something too about how you encourage other people to dream, to think of plans, goals, anything that they are curious about or inclined towards. Okay. Because it feels like part of your legend as well is how you've taken just an idea, just a curiosity, and you've built on top of that to create your own success and passion, love for life. But it feels very much like you encourage other people to use their imagination, to get creative, to get curious, because you know the value in that. And you show people that. And then after that, Page of Swords with the Five of Cups. There's like this stubborn optimism I get. Like even when you're disappointed with life or life circumstances, you still believe in a brighter future. Maybe you still believe in the divine plan, and that these experiences are not for nothing. That they're like maybe stepping stones in the story of your life. And they're part of this backstory. I wonder if the experiences of the past and disappointments that you've encountered, it could be something along the lines of like, what was that? Yeah, just something about how you embrace the past, even if it was painful, because it's like, especially when you hit these goals, you're going to be able to look it back in hindsight and be like, ah, that's what it was all for. I think you also talk about how important it is to stay maybe optimistic or determined in the darkness when you're navigating through that darkness. There's something about you that is like, and about your legend where it's like, never give up. Even if you feel insignificant, even if you feel tired, drained, even if you feel like disappointed with your circumstances, with things happening around you, just keep going forward. Like, it's almost like you don't need to have everything together. You don't need to know everything right here, right now. Just simply keep going. And, maybe that's a simple message to hear, but I feel like it impacts other people in a way that's really significant. I also feel like you've had to leave people behind on this journey. Like, certain people just couldn't come along with you in this legend that you're creating. But it's not like you look back on the past necessarily, or maybe specifically not certain people. You don't look back on them with like any sense of anger or hostility or something. Um, but you simply just recognize that these are people that I can't bring into this new chapter, into this more enlightened cycle. Yeah. Um, but the Three of Cups, I do think that this is representing how you create community, and how, because you are very loving and you show up in that way, I think other people wish to fill your cup as well, because you fill everyone else's. They want to be able to fill your cup too. And maybe you're so humble that you almost feel bad for people to do that, but it's simply just how things remain balanced. And, people who love you obviously wish to support you. They want to help you to go on your path, help you to succeed in things. And they wish to celebrate you. And if you're creating your own community, I feel like these are people that are going to cheer for you when you come into your successes. And maybe that's even part of like this backstory, or part of this legend, I mean, where it's like, it's almost like a reflection of of your character, the fact that there are people around you that wish to celebrate you, wish to express gratitude to you. Um, After that Three of Cups, there's that Knight of Pentacles. I think that you are very responsible. You also know that not everything can be achieved overnight, nor should it be sometimes. You understand that these things take time, investment. Yeah, like slow and steady investments rather than everything all at once. And this is another way that your legend can kind of be a blueprint for others. People see how this has worked for you in your favor. Also, it's interesting because the Eight of Wands following the Knight of Pentacles is interesting because the Knight of Pentacles is such a slow moving energy, whereas the Eight of Wands is a faster moving energy. But it almost feels like, okay, I'll invest here and then I'll invest here. And each of those investments is represented by a wand on this card. And so it's almost like once you've accumulated enough investment into something, all of a sudden it starts to kind of snowball. It kind of begins to accumulate to a point where you see sudden growth, sudden forward movement. The proof is in the pudding. It's very interesting here. Because it's like, yes, you do this slow effort, you do a lot of planning, those slow and steady efforts, but they accumulate, they build over a period of time, and then it's like a domino effect, and it becomes its own entity almost, is what I'm getting. But like things start to speed up at some point because you've built up so much. And that leads to your success. Interesting. But also with the Eight of Wands, it could be something about the way you communicate, which I think I already sort of touched on. You have a very special way of communicating to others that gets them excited, that gets them all fired up. And the way that you move encourages other people to move as well, either in the same way you move or maybe in their own way. You know, any way you slice it, your legend is so impactful in the lives of other people, and it really makes a difference in the world. And I feel like so many more people are going to go after their dreams, go for their goals, because you exist, because you live your life the way that you do, because you're creating this legend for other people to learn, watch, read. Yeah. I'm getting also this sense of balance and harmony, either within you or within your life, or maybe you and the universe have sort of balanced, found a place of balance, perhaps. And that's interesting. I'm talking about balance, and then the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which has the scales being balanced. So it's like not only people in the 3D wish to balance things with you, but I think you in spirit have this very balanced sort of connection where it's like, okay, I will listen to spirit's guidance in this department and I will be patient. I don't know how else to describe that. Like, pretty much you're listening to these messages that spirit wants to send you, but at the same time you have your own autonomy and free will. So it's like it's a good balance. It's not like you're just, yeah, you're not just like like a robot being controlled by spirit. Like, you still have your own opinions or like free will and perspectives and stuff like that. And I think spirit's more flexible than we give spirit credit sometimes. Anyways, let's see what's underneath that Six of Pentacles. So underneath that Six of Pentacles is the Emperor. So I think that that's really embodying this legend. It's like how you became a boss, how you bossed up in your life, how you became the biggest boss of all. Because it's literally so impactful, the energy that you have, the legend that you're creating. It's unmistakable. Yeah. Your legend is just unmistakable. Your journey is unmistakable. Your transformation, all of this is just unmistakable. It's like everything you embody, especially after all of these transformations have taken place, all of these leveling up moments, all of these accomplishments, successes, they all lead to you just being this incredibly strong person, completely influential person. Your energy will be unmistakable. And it almost feels like a trademark. I don't know why. There's just something about you, and maybe it's simply your story, your legend, but it's like unmistakable. It's literally just like so strong, so you. Like people will know your name and they'll know who the hell you are. I want to see what's underneath that emperor. A hanged man. You help people to reflect on what is possible. You show people that no matter what it looks like, how bleak things look, or how trapped in something you may feel or experience, there's always a way out. There's always another perspective, another part to things. Like there's a bigger picture here, even if we ourselves don't see it. And I feel like you just have this way of inspiring and motivating so many people. And your legend will do just that. Inspire many. Yeah. It's much bigger than just yourself. It's like a huge thing and it's big picture stuff. Let's explore the bottom of this deck. So we did already see the Queen of Swords, and I kind of already touched on that. Let's see what's underneath that. King of Cups. So although I do think that you are incredibly loving and you show up in a way that is like very strong with the emotions, I feel like there's somebody in the background observing you, really digging you, digging your strength of will, strength of character, strength of mind, body and spirit. They're very attracted to you, and you definitely light up their heart. I'm curious what's underneath that. Two of Wands. So this person may be actively making plans to come towards you. I mean, if they're that King of Cups, though, they may be a good match. Maybe the two of you kind of balance each other out. That's cute. But I think somebody has some sort of feelings for you, and they are going to make those feelings known at some point on this journey. I feel like the further you go down this path, the more in alignment you'll be to that person. And maybe the easier this person will be able to like reach out to you or something like that. Okay, let's see if the Oracle has anything to add to this beautiful reading. Please and thank you, Spirit, for the Hive Collective. Any additional messages? Oh, okay. Let's see. So the first one, we have lavender. This represents tranquility, kindness, and self-care. That's beautiful. So people are going to resonate with the part of your legend that has to do with the benefits of self-care, of being kind, but also finding inner peace, and how that can help you to achieve so much. And then we have time. This represents presence and self-awareness. See, there's something about your presence, like it's unmistakable, like a fingerprint or like a trademark. It's like you are going to have your own something, your own brand, I want to say. Like it's just like you're unmistakable, you're you, and that is your superpower. And it's like when you become aware of that, the world opens up to you. Like when you realize that you have something special going on and that you're here for a greater purpose, it opens doors for you. And I think people really love that part of your legend where you realize who you are and where you treasure and value the things that make you different and how they have those qualities have served you because they're so different. Then we have basil. This represents prosperity, luck, and love. Definitely. That is your story. You're meant to be prosperous, lucky, and you're meant to have love in your life as well. So these are all parts of your legend. They will see you as this prosperous, lucky lover person. And they'll just be like, how'd you get there? And then you'd be like, well, here's my legend. And then bottom of the deck is potion. This represents invigoration and empowerment. That's a beautiful energy too. You're simply creating magic in your life, others, and you invigorate them. Yeah. You infuse them with a new sense of hope and optimism about how the world works and the endless possibilities of the universe, truly. And people want to listen to you. And yeah, because it's like you are proof that these things exist, that these things are at play in this big story, this big picture. Yeah. And they can't help but get inspired by it. It's beautiful. That's the reading. I really hope you enjoyed this. And if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the, sorry, my hat, Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. I am so happy that you are here to join our little bee family and be a part of the Hive Collective. So thank you so much for being here. I really, truly appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you in the next one.